You bitches.
Woo! Hello, everybody.
So,
We are
Hello.
live. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to Whiskey Wednesdays, a Fools and Flagons show where I, the DM, review and discuss various topics regarding D&D, as suggested by you and the lovely people in our Discord. The Whiskey Wednesdays will be available in podcast form and as a VOD on our YouTube channel the following Wednesday from when this goes live. The podcast, you can find it on most major platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, bunch of other podcast services. We do have a calendar to keep track of everything that we're doing stream-wise. We got Pez Plays on Mondays. It was very sad I missed this week. Totally forgot about that with my trip.
Sad.
Whiskey Wednesdays on Wednesdays, of course, and those are alternating weeks. Same with our campaign, also alternating weeks for the D&D campaign that we play. And Metallurgy Magic just sort of happens whenever Metal wants to stream those.
He's metal.
Yeah, well, he's got a bit of a weird schedule. So, I forgot where I was going after that. Oh, yes. If you are around in the morning this coming Saturday, which will be July 16th, keep an eye on Twitch. There may be a stream coming up. So long as the stars align and everyone is able to meet to play things and stuff.
Is it
Yeah.
sad that I was confused by what you were talking about for a second? I was like, I thought we were doing something.
It is a little sad, yes. I am very disappointed
I'm
in you.
tired.
Believe me, I feel you. I am so tired.
I know,
So,
and I'm fantastic.
with that
Well,
being
you
said, I am taking my first sip of whiskey, so we may begin this episode of Whiskey Wednesdays. Ah, there we go. It has begun. So, I had a thought one morning at about 6 a.m.,
Dear
Ah.
God, run.
and it was about how could you get Pokemon into D&D?
You all play
Hilarious.
Rangers.
Not
Well-
really necessarily.
Now, let me preface this. There was actually a guy that was working on getting Pokemon brought into D&D, and they were given a cease and desist. So I want to preface the stream in that I am not attempting to do this. This is all theoretical. I have not seen their material. It has been pulled down. But supposedly this guy had gotten through like Gen 4 or Gen 5 and made like monster stat blocks for every Pokemon.
That's cool.
So wait, so Pokemon gave them a cease and desist because they were making a
No. Mm-mm.
non-profit thing?
I believe it was Wizards of the Coast, because it's if I remember the article correctly, it was Wizards of the Coast basically told them to cease and desist because they did not want Nintendo coming after Wizards of the Coast, because
Which
it
makes
was
sense.
a separate IP that they did not own.
Makes sense.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like with the Stranger Things D&D mod. You can only do the ones that are really in the book, because if you bring in stuff from season 4 and you're making it look official, like, they also get in trouble because they don't have the rights to the season 4 monsters.
Now, granted, it is D&D, so technically speaking, you can do and use whatever the fuck you want. Just publishing that kind of stuff, even if it's for free and there's no profit being... This guy was doing it as a total hobby. He was making nothing off of this,
Yeah.
by the way. But, you know, even then, trademarks
careful.
are kind of weird, man.
Well, it's kind of like Anne Rice, where she's didn't have any fan fictions out there because she kept suing the fan fiction writers. And it wasn't until she died that people who had written fan fiction from like the 80s actually were able to publish their fan fictions, because she kept suing the shit out of everybody.
Mm-hmm. Some people just have a death hold on their IPs, and that's fine. You know, it's your intellectual property. You do what you want to
Sure,
do
right.
with it, but you know,
Sometimes you're just a bitch about it.
She was kind of a bitch about it. But she's dead, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, so in any case, with
Yay!
that preface out of the way, that we are not attempting to make this. This is all just theoretical, having fun, because we have been playing the Pixelmon mod in Minecraft, which you are more than welcome to join via our Discord. And then just ping Metal and bother the fuck out of him, and he'll do his mumbo jumbo to get you in there. So that's kind of what sparked this thought is how would we go about this? So I've got a few kind of categories to go off of, but starting at the bare bones, the very bare beginning, it's like, who are you and why are you there? So my initial thought was you're a party of traveling gym leaders. Maybe the story premise is you're trying to take down a big time Team Rocket group in the region. Your gym, or air quotes class, limits the type of Pokemon you can take. So at least one of the two types on a Pokemon must be of your gym class. So if you are a rock gym leader or a ground gym leader, whatever, because sometimes Pokemon have multiple types to them, at least one of those has to be rock. So that's like the basic initial story idea that I had for it.
All right. Also, side note, someone, because you were talking about type, someone pointed out to me that you can make an entire Pokemon team of just turtle-themed Pokemon, and now I really want to do that.
You do you, boo.
Yeah.
So, the first thing that kind of popped into my head was how do you handle the Pokemon's moves? So, the moves would kind of be the same as far as progression goes, with leveling up and how many can you have, or does it work like when you're selecting spells? So, as an example, you have your full list and you can select once for your 4 available. Like you get that Pokemon, you select the 4 skills, done. That's it. Or maybe at the very least you would have move tutors like we've got in Pixelmon that are in town, so you can retrain them. But maybe not necessarily. I don't know. There's so many steps involved with this to try to make it as close to Pokemon as possible, but keeping it D&D related.
Yeah, I mean, most of the because there's 2 types of Pokemon moves. There's physical and there's special. I mean, most of the special moves would act like spells more than anything.
Yeah.
Just what does PP stand for anyway? And
Power points, I think. The
Power
PP
points?
basically,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, is how many times a Pokemon can use a move. So if you have 30 PP, you can use the move 30 times. If you have 5,
So it's
you can only
basically
use it 5 times.
It's basically like a spell slot.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially for some of those, especially the higher end ones that only have 5 power points.
Mm-hmm.
And you could even you could mess around with that a little bit and kind of merge the 2 systems. I feel like you might be using a certain Pokemon move less than the normal power points it would have, but if kind of the what's the word for keeping track of your supplies and stuff to make sure you don't run out of what you need.
I mean, you're keeping track of
Organization?
your resources.
Yeah, resource management. Thank you.
So you're coming through on Becca's mic really hard right now.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I thought I got it fixed.
Yeah. So that would be an aspect of resource management more than anything.
I mean, could always just use the skills themselves as charges. So you've got you've got a Bulbasaur. It has 5 charges of Solar Beam. Recharges on a long rest kind of deal.
Especially if you're sticking to the 4 moves per Pokemon, that adds this is pretty much equivalent to a 7th level spell, but you only got 4 of this. You only got 4 spells.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that would be the way to go about it, in all honesty.
I realize also if you're trying to do 4 different moves, basically, you could also have it so that you limit it to 1 range attack, 1 melee attack, one like defensive like position basically, and then also you can then have like a spell slot. So like with that as well, if you're having like a physical attack or like something that's like a dodge, that might help you out. You also may not have that necessarily count in like a spell slot thing because that's just moving like a defensive, I guess.
I would disagree only because each person is going to have a different methodology to how they play. I play Pokemon in the very brute strength aspect. I take all damaging abilities. I take almost no healing, no stat adjustment. It's just hit them hard, hit them first, kill them before they kill you. Other people, like Zach or Metal or whoever else is playing, may go for those stat things. So I don't necessarily want to limit someone to say like you can take 1 melee, 1 range, 1 special, 1 defense, because that's not really how the game itself generally works. Well, I'm sure we can touch on that as we keep going on, but thinking more about the moves, like, so how would you handle hitting? And there's kind of a few ways that I thought about this. It could be like starting off with a percentile dice. It's, each ability has like a 50% chance to hit. The value would be changed by the move's accuracy, because there's the power, which is the damage it deals, and the accuracy, which is, of course, the chance for it to hit. Or you go with the accuracy is the percentage to roll. Because some skills will have like 30 accuracy, 50, 60, 100. But even with like 100 accuracy, the ability can still miss. It's not likely, but depending on what type you're going up against and what they have, there are ways to reduce that. So like if you have an accuracy of 55%, the roll must be from 1 to 55 to hit, a 56 to 100 misses. And then it kind of becomes, will the opponent be able to modify that percentage roll? So if you have 100% accuracy on this skill, I'm not talking about like Swift, which is guaranteed to hit. I mean like the accuracy says 100. Is there anything that your opponent would have, like speed, defense, or special defense, that would lower your percentage? And in that case, it seems to become a little bit more complicated, because you're having a back and forth with, well, I have this, it has 85 accuracy, what's your defense or whatever. Yeah, it made my brain hurt.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What was that?
It is what it is.
I was sorry. I forgot I was muted. Am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
So I was saying it. I was looking up how they measure Pokemon speed. And the average Pokemon speed is 66. While the average base speed for a fully evolved Pokemon is 78. So it could just be a half of your speed, so it's your accuracy minus half of the base speed, because if a Pokemon has a speed of 100, it doesn't make sense to do a full 1-to-1, so it could be like half their speed is subtracted from your accuracy, and you have to roll for that.
Well, now, just for the record, generally a Pokemon's speed determines which of them attacks first, which as a one-on-one makes perfect sense. If you've got a speed of 66 and the other has a speed of 60, the 66 is going to go first.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in a potentially bigger group setting with multiple people with multiple Pokemons out and about, that throws a bit of a wrench in things. The other option would be to do a kind of similar D20 situation where you take the accuracy and you factor that into the dice roll. So let's say, for the sake of the argument, 100 accuracy is like you got to roll a 10 or higher. Then an accuracy of 60, it's, I don't know, like 14, 15 or higher, something like that.
I mean,
yeah, you're right. So evasion is the percentile value that determines chance of opposing Pokemon missing.
Oh, so there is an evasion chance. Okay.
Yeah.
I clearly did my research on this.
The way the evasion stat works is each Pokemon at the start of the battle is at a value of 0. If the stat is decreased below 0 with a move such as Sweet Scent, the opposing Pokemon's move will have a larger chance of hitting. If the stat is increased above 0% with something like Double Team, the opposing Pokemon's move will have a smaller chance of hitting. So at the start of a battle, yeah, I don't really know how that would work with a Pokemon with a move with 100% chance of hitting. Like, it just automatically hits if you use a 100% chance.
Well, but that's the thing, that just because it has 100% accuracy or 100 accuracy doesn't guarantee it to hit. I've had abilities with 100 accuracy that miss because the other one just dodged or evaded or some bullshit like that. It's a lot more likely to hit, but it doesn't. Because, like, if you look at the move Swift, that's basically Magic Missile. You're not dodging it. It has decent damage. I think the power is like 60, 65, something like that. So it's a bit on the low end because you're guaranteeing a hit. So that's kind of what I was thinking, is that it would just become... Combat would become a lot more of a back and forth. Because instead of you rolling a d20, adding your modifier, and then I'm telling you whether or not it hits, there's got to be a little bit of more back and forth, because then, you know, I'd have to be asking what's the accuracy, and then I got to look at evasion and do math.
not math.
I know. So the other stipulation there is that instead of doing a whole bunch of math each and every roll, you factor in the evasion and the accuracy, and you turn those into the stat blocks of, like, you know, it's a +5 to hit, or, you know, your AC is whatever because of your, you know, evasion percentage getting converted into, you know, your armor class. Yeah. Damage, I think, would work the same with resistances and vulnerabilities. I mean, you've got your types, you know what's effective and what isn't. Doubling the damage or having it. But the other question then kind of becomes, is the damage rolled or is it a flat value? Because if you've got something that's like power 65, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure how the damage is calculated. So, like, if you've got a 300 HP Pokemon and something hits you with like a 65 power attack, well, you got that attack like 20 levels ago. It's still doing the same power damage, so I'm wondering how that scales, because I'm sure it's the power plus the special attack or the regular attack level of your dude.
Yeah, it's. I think you're right. I think it is that. Plus, you also have if you're using a move that you have the same type as, you automatically get a 50% buff to the move, right? I think
something like that. Yeah. It's just the more that I try to come up with the rules myself, the more I realize that, considering how many people were really enjoying playing this guy did his fucking homework.
Yeah. It's also a matter of, like, again, the base kind of system for Pokemon is based on percentiles.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely lends itself more to a D100 system than it would to a D20 system.
Right. Unless you were to do some like like at the get-go, you take those percentages and you somehow turn them into the plus or minus modifiers that you see all the time in D&D. So
Yeah.
again, you take a move that's got like 100 accuracy. Well, that gives you like a plus 10 to hit on a D20 roll or something like that, and just make it flat across the board, because the power for moves in Pokemon generally aren't that varied. Like it's 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, so the math should be pretty easy there.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Yeah, make the intervals of 10 out to 1, and that's basically what a D20 system is anyway, sort of.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, but then how would you handle the difference between like a 60 power attack and a 65 power attack? Would you just say it's a plus 6?
On that, I would say you decide up front. Okay, are we rounding up or are we rounding down? And in D&D, you're usually rounding down.
Not on yourself. So generally, like if you are casting a spell and you have to roll something for it, you're generally going to be rounding up. Now, if someone is defending themselves and they're affecting that number, then it's rounded down because it's to their benefit.
Yeah.
I didn't explain that well at all.
No, you're fine. I get what you're saying, and I can't remember because I haven't come across something in a while that needed rounding up or down, and I can't remember for the life of me what, because I know there's something in D&D that you round.
It's usually like when you're raging or something, when you're having. So if you are a barbarian and you are raging, and you get like like 13 damage is dealt to you, you have that damage rounded down.
Right.
But then there are other situations where you get some sort of value, but you round up because it's to your benefit. So I can't think of an example for it, but I know that is a thing.
Yeah. You're right, though, about having damage, because that's for like evasion and other stuff as well. Because I was like, I know we've rounded down. I know we rounded numbers before. What am I thinking of?
I just can't think of a good example of why you would round up.
Like I said, it's not often. You find yourself rounding down more than anything, just because the main thing you use it for is half damage.
Correct. So let's move away from numbers here real quick and get into more like theory crafting. Well, I guess this whole thing is theory crafting, but how would you manage the party? And I've got a quick paragraph. I'll breeze through it real quick. So first thought is maybe we'll limit how many Pokemon in your party by player level. So this is where we kind of reach into like a quasi spell slot sort of thing. So like if you're a gym leader trainer and you're, I don't know, fucking level 10, you've got like 4 slots. Because I think by level 10 you've got 4 spell slots at the very least. Or
Wait a minute.
You get up to like 4th level spells, I think.
I just remembered something about this, and I believe that proficiency score would come in handy here. Because if I remember correctly, class features.
Oh yeah, because your proficiency goes up to 6, right?
Yeah. So if you go how many Pokemon you can have by your proficiency score, you start out with 2 for the first 4 levels, then you get a 3rd on the 5th level, then you get a 4th on the 9th level, then a 5th on the 13th, and then your 6th at 17th.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Word.
Ooh.
Well, so then here comes the trickier part. How would you implement catching or gaining new Pokemon as players level up and progress? Like, could you just have a massive, like, random loot and encounter tables with capture percent chance tables, and, these percents are modified by ball type? I'm actually not sure why I moved this down further. Where'd it go? Hold
I mean, as far as like, you can only have that certain amount of number on your team. Like if you're 8th level, you can only, or say you have 9th level, you now have 4 Pokemon on your team. But like just like in Pokemon, you probably have a PC where you can store all the other Pokemon you catch, and you just kind of switch them out like a wizard in a spell book.
Well, so then here becomes the other side of this sort of question: is how do you decide who gets to try and catch which Pokemon? Like, is there just another encounter table? So like with that encounter table, it's basically you guys are traveling along, and I would like literally just roll a dice, and if I roll a certain percentage, like okay, random encounter, and then there's a huge table on how I make you guys roll a d20 or whatever. I'll say like roll a d100, and whatever you guys roll is who you encounter. But then, how do you decide who gets to try and catch it? Do the players get multiple attempts to capture it? Does the Pokemon still need to be alive? If yes, how do you do the capture percent with remaining HP? And Huh?
I've been trying to put it in Teams or in the chat because I didn't want to speak over Zeke and fuck up all the stuff, but I'm tired of sitting here quietly. So, there is a Harry Potter fanfiction that literally addressed the last 2 things you were talking about. So, I thought it was very poignant, and I will talk about this now. Because, yes.
I have declared it! I am talking of it!
Yes, so shut the hell up.
Okay.
So in the fanfiction, shut up, you! In the fanfiction, every year, all of the students at Hogwarts were allowed to get another Pokemon. So Zeke's method would work out. It's every time you get to that level, you could do it. But what they would have to do, because Pokemon are protected, and they're basically magical creatures in there, is that you couldn't just go out and randomly catch Pokemon on the street. Like, you need to make sure that you're taking care of breeding populations and making sure you don't make them go extinct, like the whole thing with Lapras. So they would have different events once a year where you chose the Pokemon type you wanted to get. You would go to an event, you would compete against other competitors to perform either a task or be able to do like a thing, and then you would be able to catch a Pokemon if you succeeded in the task. And they would give you like 3 or 4 Pokemon to choose from. But it would be like, because they were such endangered magical creatures in the fanfiction, you couldn't just go out willy-nilly and just like randomly throw balls at people. Like, you actually had to earn them, and you had to be able to go through a whole process of proving yourself that you could actually, one, handle the Pokemon that you're getting, and how you perform, and like in the fanfiction, how you performed your task and how you succeeded depended on what level of Pokemon you were getting. Were you getting like a starter Pokemon? Were you getting like a Pokemon that's already like on its 2nd evolution? Like, all that stuff depended on how you performed your task in this competition or in this like series of events. So, I'm done now.
No, that makes sense. So then again, you kind of run into the issue of, if you're looking at like a typical party of 4, let's say, and if we're going with my initial assumption that you are all gym leaders and you're only allowed to take Pokemon of your gym's type, that way you kind of divvy up the party a bit. You've got different strengths and weaknesses, and you're not just like, oh, well, I've got fire, rock, water, wind, air, heart, whatever.
By my powers combined,
Yeah.
I'm a broken piece of shit.
Right.
You're like, I had heart. No, that's just Ep7, and he's on some kind of magical god voodoo drugs. So.
Well, okay, so if we're using the assumption that what I'd want to be cautious of is making it something that the players would be able to fail at, because, you spend all this time running around fighting Team Rocket, fighting wild shit. You finally get to this new level, your proficiency goes up, you've got a new slot, and then you just don't get to catch it. Or, even if we're assuming the whole PC thing where you catch and catch and catch, and you can swap your team out, you're only, you can have a max number on your team at a time, but you're still, if you have one of those tournaments, well, what happens on that tournament if like 2 of your party members aren't able to get anything? Either there's no type that matches their gym, or they just don't succeed.
I would like
Then
to
they
interject.
wait to the next one. You suck it up.
Well,
I would like to interject.
uh-huh.
So, we were talking about like tables and stuff earlier. So it could be like, um, you might have to futz around with like, okay, it's your turn to catch a Pokemon kind of thing, which wouldn't really work in IRL or in normal Pokemon games settings, but that's what there is to it. But say, like, for instance, you have one person who's going out to catch a Pokemon, and it could be like a daily encounter kind of thing. And it's so you take whatever area, and say they're traveling through a forest. Okay, well, you have all of these Pokemon that can appear in this forest. But you only have like a certain section of those that he can actually catch because of his type.
Right.
To make sure he's getting the type he wants at the beginning of the campaign, you could just give everyone kind of like those medallions Metal gave us, but they don't run out. Yeah, the lures. So everyone's wearing a medallion that's their lure type. So whenever they're actively going out and searching, they only get what their type.
So I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that you can go out and you can catch what you want instead of, having to go through a competition like what with Becca was saying. No, I mean it's a good idea. Like I would definitely do something like that for like some of the higher level or the rarer spawn ones,
sought after stuff.
Yeah,
fossils and stuff.
Like you go through this tournament and you get a chance of catching a Zapdos, for example. Versus you guys are traveling from this town to this town, and you go, there's a creek over there. I heard that there are some Squirtle around this area, or maybe like a Tentacool or whatever. Do you guys mind if we take a detour and go along there? And everyone's like, yeah, it's a riverbed. There might be some plant types. Billy Joe can get some some other planty things. Maybe he can find himself a Scyther or whatnot. And you go along that way, and you find them.
Yeah.
But so then again, if we're going by the actual game, the wild Pokemon have to be alive to be caught. Is that the best way for this to work with D&D? Because if you look at the anime, when they are catching something, that motherfucker is unconscious.
Uh-huh.
It's like, the motherfucker's unconscious. Hey, look, a Pikachu!
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right the fuck out.
But I mean, that's how it is. They are unconscious. They're not
play...
able to fight back, and that's when you go to catch them. So would we do the same in this, where you get them to 0, they are out cold, and then you attempt to catch them?
So the question is then you wouldn't be playing Nuzlocke rules, or would you want to play Nuzlocke rules?
I would not want to play Nuzlocke rules.
No.
Well, you're a bitch. Well, fuck y'all then.
Are we playing Nuzlocke when we get the new version of Pokemon?
Yes?
Okay.
Because we're not bitches.
You might not be.
Okay, so for those that are not aware, the Nuzlocke Challenge, commonly known as just Nuzlocke, it's a set of rules intended to create a higher level of difficulty when playing the Pokemon games. Many challengers feel that the rules also serve the purpose of encouraging the use of Pokemon the player would not normally choose and promoting closer bonds with the player's team. The rules are not an in-game function, but are self-imposed on the part of the player, thus subject to variation. The basic rules: any Pokemon that faints is considered dead and must be released. The player may only catch the first wild Pokemon encountered in each area and none else. If the first wild Pokemon encountered faints or flees, there are no second chances. If the first encounter in the area is a double battle, the player is free to choose which of the two they would like to try to catch, but only catch one of them. The restriction does not apply necessarily to Pokemon able to be captured during static encounters, nor to shiny Pokemon. So
You also have to name them so that when they die, it hurts worse.
yeah, so the next section on this wiki is the near universally used rules. The player may not voluntarily reset and reload the game whenever things go wrong. Being able to do so would render all these rules pointless. The player must nickname all of their Pokemon for the sake of forming stronger emotional bonds. The player may put Pokemon that have fainted into the Pokemon storage system permanently rather than releasing them. Some players use Nuzlocke Challenge, may have designated boxes for Pokemon that have fainted. The player may only use Pokemon they have captured themselves, meaning anything acquired through trading, mystery gifts, or whatever is prohibited. So yeah, if one of your dudes goes down in the D&D setting, that is an important distinction. Like, you would need revives and health potions. So in that sense, would we still employ death saves? Or would it be considered that when it faints, that's it? And then you throw out a new one?
I personally don't know. Like, I the fact that like when it dies it's just out. Also, I mean, I guess it might take into account some stuff like that, but like,
unless you have a revive.
All right, so you don't, and your Pokemon got crit. Nothing you could do about it, but it got crit. You got one shot.
It happens.
That just sucks. Like, and it like say it's like oh yeah, this is the Pokemon I use all the time. It's like, oh well, now it's gone. It's like, no, fuck that.
I mean, like, I understand the whole. I don't know. For me personally, I understand wanting to make it a challenge.
Well, not
like,
even so much wanting to make it a challenge, just trying to work out how would this be handled in the game. Like, would you still be able to use potions to revive them? Are they going to have death saves?
In a Nuzlocke, you can use potions. You cannot use revives. And let's say your Pokemon, like, faints. Let's say it gets some kind of boost or gets automatically healed by some random dude on the road after an encounter. It's still dead. Like, it's still dead. Which sucks. But,
okay, so if we take revives out of the question, then I would say that we go to a death save scenario, and a potion will revive it.
I would be much more comfortable with the system of that's very much more similar to classic Pokemon of between Pokemon centers. Yes, unless you have a revive, you can't use that you can't use that Pokemon. But as soon as you find a Pokemon center, you're good to go.
Okay, so let me theorycraft around that then. So you guys are traveling between cities for the sake of the argument. You guys keep getting jumped by Team Rocket. Zeke, you go through the 4 that are on your belt. You don't have a PC out in the wild, so you can't just pull from anything. You're basically useless until you get back to town. Your dudes are not dead. Kind of like with Vex's Crystal Pendant for Trinket. Once he's reduced to 0 hit points and he goes unconscious, he gets slurped back up into the gem. Yeah?
I'm not familiar with the system, so
Well, that's why I was asking Zeke, but I'm not seeing the toaster pop.
Sorry, yes.
That's Dixie's baby.
No, the cat just popped out of my voice booth, and I'm just like, where the fuck did you get in there?
Baby.
But yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, as soon as it goes to 0 hit points, it pops back into the necklace and is stable and unconscious.
Okay, so
or
then
no, at 1 hit point. Yeah,
are we still in that aspect? Are we saying that if you let it get to 0 and you were not able to use a potion, then it's just done until you get to the center? Or would you say that you have like a few seconds to give it a potion to quote unquote revive it?
Yeah, because then if you run out of Pokemon, what are you supposed to do? Just cower behind everyone else?
Now, in that sense, if we are making this to be a little bit more difficult, instead of it being like, it's at 0, done, gone. It's in the Pokeball, cannot be used, cannot be revived. What if there's like maybe a little bit of a limited death save. So, because if we're looking at it, you still only get one turn. You still only get one action per turn. You can attack. Mm-hmm. You can use a potion. It's the same rules as combat in a normal Pokemon game. So let's just say that you've got one... Your dude goes down after using an attack. It comes back to your turn. It's got like one death save. And if it passes the death save, then you get to use a potion to try to revive it, because it was brought to 0. And if you fail that time, then it goes into the ball. Yeah. Because you also don't want to waste too much time trying to revive it, because then you don't have anything out there. This is fun, but it's hurting my brain.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it, it's like, would I actually want to play this?
I think if the rules could be... And again, I really wish that I could see the way that this guy made the rules, because if he may have made this so fucking trivial, and we just can't think of the best way to do this, and he did. Yeah. It's an interesting conundrum. I mean, do we want to just move on into combat? Play around with that idea? Good talk. Happy to be here.
Listen, I always answer the damn questions. Other people talk now, damn it.
No.
So let me look at my notes here. So
yeah, I'm definitely having fun with this theory crafting, but yeah, this hurt my brain sometimes.
Yeah. So combat will absolutely require some quick math to be able to distribute experience to players and Pokemon after each fight. It's either that or you go with a milestone method. You know, you beat a gym, whatever, you level up, kind of thing. You take down this one branch of Team Rocket, you level up. But now, Ian, the other tricky part there is...
Ian.
What?
That actually introduces a really interesting thing, because in the game, you can have Pokemon above certain levels unless you get those gym badges.
I actually brought that up a little bit further down, involving experience. It's
okay, I shut up then.
No, because, I mean, we can jump to that, because it's a big part of it. So, like you said, is there a party-wide experience share? Like, all players and all the players' Pokemon benefit from experience gained? Because the idea there is that you are gym leaders, which means that you're kind of the higher echelon. Also, hello, Pess. So you would very likely have access to party experience shares. The items that, like, you know, the one that's out gets a majority of the experience, the other ones get, like, a reduced amount, but they still level at the same time. But then you run into the problem of, like, what if the party has to split and 2 of the 4 get into a fight because, you know, one of them's a dickhead and they started a bar brawl and the other 2 don't? Is it sucks to suck? You know, we got experience, you didn't? Or is there shared experience? Like, think of like how the tribal experience works in Arc. So long as you're within a relative range, you get that experience. And here's where I'm touching on what you said there, Becca. I say, or the Pokemon level individually if they are used in battle. And in parentheses, I said, fuck this, too much math, and make shit grindy as fuck, use party-wide experience share.
Yeah.
And which, again, is why I'm saying, like, milestones. Because if you consider the fact that you're going to have 4 people playing with, theoretically, towards endgame, 6 Pokemon apiece, that's a lot of fuck you math I don't want to have to deal with. Some hardcore people out there might be all about it, but no.
There's also the matter of, for Pokemon leveling, you get 100 levels for each Pokemon. Do you divide that by 5 instead to go with the 5e 20 level system and just like every level you get access to a new move? Instead of it being like in Pokemon where you go a few levels and then get a new move.
Well, and that's why I was touching earlier. Yes, Pez?
I'm raising my hand, but you can't see.
Oh.
There is an official Pokemon 5e tool set.
Well, so we touched on this earlier. The app for that was not taken down, but the guy that was doing the rules and was making all the PDFs and everything, he was given a cease and desist back in like 2021 or something
PDF
like that.
of it.
Because Pez comes in clutch.
Well, we may have to take a look at this later on, but again, I am going to reiterate, we are not trying to make anything. This is all theory crafting, so...
Don't believe him, it's all lies!
Don't bother giving us a cease and desist, because I promise you, we're not doing dick about this. This is just for funsies.
I'm not going to cease anything. I don't even control my own mind. You have no control over it.
But yeah, so what Pez is showing us on his screen is basically a monster stat block. Like the Ponyta has a strength of 13, dex of 18, con 12, intelligence 6. I think Ponyta's smarter than a 6. Wisdom and charisma is 10. But yeah, the moves.
Dumb enough to let us ride them.
There's Stomp, which AB. Oh, attack bonus. So yeah, the Stomp has a +8 to hit. It's 5d4 plus 4 melee damage. Flame Wheel, DC 16, so I'm assuming that's going to be a save on the opponent's side. Wheel of Flame explodes out from you in a 10-foot radius. All creatures in the area must succeed on a dex save against your move DC, taking fire damage on a fail and half as much on a save. If the user is frozen, this move can still be used, thawing out the creature during the attack. So yeah, when I was saying that like these dudes fucking thought of everything, they fucking thought of everything. It's
really cool.
It's legitimately amazing the amount of work that this guy was doing before he was told to stop. And again, shockingly, if I read the article correctly, it was not Nintendo that asked him to stop. It was Wizards of the Coast.
Which, again, makes sense.
Yeah.
Aw, he has a name.
Luna.
Easy, look, it's you.
Looking on that, going back to like the experience and everything, would the wild Pokemon that you would encounter, would they be kept the same as the party level? Are enemy trainers at the same party level, or is there like a slight variation? So it's like equal to party ±3 or ±4 levels. It'd be random. You roll a dice to see what the result is. As I'm like, if I'm the DM and I'm making the encounters, just to make things interesting, like, oh, there's a big Gyarados, but it goes down to one hit. You're like, wow, he was a bitch. But then you go to fight the Wii, and it's like, why won't you die?
They're basically like real Pokemon.
Yes.
Does that mean I can go back after that kid Billy was rude to me and go kick dirt in his eyes after I wipe out his team?
Sure, why not? You do you, boo.
Fuck you, Billy.
So looking at the creature stat blocks, that's one thing, but we're still having to, like, how would you do encounters? So how do you implement multiple players in a fight? Like, only one Pokemon per person can be out at any time, because that's just kind of bog standard rules. Are they able to swap Pokemon? Or is it like when you're doing a den? You pick the one for that fight, and that's who's out, and that's it. In the same vein, if we go the other route where you have multiple Pokemon, you're able to swap them, does the enemy also have multiple Pokemon? Can the enemy swap in the middle of a fight? And again, I'm seeing on Nim's thing here, you've got actions. I don't know if there's bonus actions or anything.
That's what I was going to ask. Would switching a Pokemon out count as an action or a bonus action?
If we're going by the rules of Pokemon, you have one thing you can do per turn. You can make an attack, you can swap Pokemon, or you can use an item. That's all you get in the games. I don't know how it is in the D&D module. Let's see. Yeah, must the combat be even? So aside from trainer battles, how do you handle random encounters? Because traditionally out in the wild, you only encounter one Pokemon at a time. In a theoretical 4-player group, will the players face like 5 Weedles, 4 Weedles, a Weedle, a Sandshrew, Charmander, and a Bellsprout? 2 Squirtles and a Staryu? Like, how do you do random
like
encounters?
TV show.
Huh?
You just have people fall. You do it like the TV shows. Like they're with you, but they're not fighting at the same time as you. Especially on maybe on a more powerful Pokemon. Like if you fight like a fucking, I don't know,
like you're doing a Dynamax Den kind of deal or something.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
that's not every encounter.
Right.
In Pokemon, there were plenty of times where Ash or Brock was or not Ash or Brock, Misty or Brock were on the sidelines where Ash was fighting and vice versa.
Right. And actually, just watching his thing here, this next section is just completely negated because they've figured it out here. I was basically asking, like, how do you determine AoEs? Do you do templates? And how do you determine, like, ranges and the shape of the AoEs, depending on the skill? Is it just arbitrary? But, again, this guy's fucking figured it all out. But kind of talking about ranges, that's one thing that really, really interests me here. Because there's two ways to go about this. You go the D&D route or you go the Pokemon route. And I can see both, having their own individual strengths and weaknesses. If you go the Pokemon route, range is not a thing. Because you're considered to just always be within range. You basically fucking Civil War that shit, line up, and you just throw shit at each other until something sticks. Or you go the more complicated route and you go D&D, which you're going to have to involve the range of moves. So like Flame Wheel, you've got to be, I think it was saying you got to be within like 10 feet of them, Nim, right? Which means that...
Yes.
There you go. So now you have to factor in movement, terrain, difficult terrain, getting within range, line of sight. So yeah, you'd have to start making combat maps versus just kind of the simpler method of, well, you're in an encounter. What are you trying to hit with? Because there's no, at that point, there's no real strategy in the grand scheme of things. I don't know. What would you guys prefer, do you think?
This one I'm a bit lost on.
Lost as in you don't understand, or lost as in you can't decide?
Can't decide.
Got it.
D&D rules.
D&D rules. So yeah, I'm looking at Nim's thing again. Stomp is melee, Flame Wheel is 10 feet, and Ember is 60 feet. Pretty much all of them are instantaneous. Actually, Nim, on that app, I see that it's got like 1 PP, 0 PP. So do each of those moves only have one use?
Okay, so there's your PP up there.
Oh, it's a health. It's
okay.
a pool.
So for those that can't see, he's got a total pool of 50 PP. So if I'm reading this correctly, Stomp consumes 1 PP, Flame Wheel also 1, Ember 1. Tackle doesn't consume any PP, so it's basically you always have an attack ability.
Something other than PP, please.
No.
Huh?
Can we call it something other than PP? I'm having a really hard time not laughing out loud right now.
No, go ahead and laugh because I'm not changing it.
What's wrong, Zach? What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. It's funny as shit because I'm a child.
Because I'm a child. But no, that's actually... That's a much better system, I think, than what we were thinking. Because you're really going to have to kind of do some quick math to make sure that you have enough to do what you want to do. That's very interesting. Huh.
I have some character sheets that I did find.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh. I was given character sheets. Ooh. So now, is this for the Pokemon themselves, or is this for the player?
Yes.
You have no idea, do you?
Yep. I think this is for you, the player. The trainer.
Right, so then I wonder... what are these used for then? Because the player has strength, dex, constitution, and all that, but why? Because, I mean, your stuff is... I mean, I guess if you're looking at those scores only affecting your skills like athletics, acrobatics, and being able to traverse and interact as a human versus having attacks, which it doesn't look like you have attacks on this character sheet.
Well, again, if let's say all your Pokemon are passed out and you need to either get in a fist fight...
I'm gonna fucking punch that rat!
Well, I mean, Ash took on how many Pokemon with a stick?
Well, and he failed miserably, but...
I know he did, but that's because he's 10 and he sucks. But, like, let's be honest, like, if you're in the woods and you get jumped by another human being, you may not necessarily throw the Pokemon at him first shot. You may just beat him with a stick.
Well, I mean, looking at the character sheet that Nim just sent me, as I've now taken the second to actually fucking look through it, it does look like your stats are essentially based around the roleplay skills. So, athletics, acrobatics, sleight of hand, they misspelled sleight, stealth, arcana, history, investigation, nature, religion, mythology, Pokemon handling, which is, animal handling, insight, medicine, perception, survival, deception, intimidation, performance, and persuasion. It also has a nifty little chart for consumables, so all of your status heals, your ethers, your potions, your berries, gym badges. You even got your little money counter there. And there's also a section for counting how many Pokeballs you have. So that's interesting. I don't know what SR control is. Wait, why is there a section called plot armor points?
Yes.
What the fuck does that mean?
Hold on, I'm digging through like a bunch of old PDFs and stuff.
Yeah, no worries. It's
I'm
just it's
posting
very
them in
interesting.
Whiskey Wednesdays.
There's a move list PDF. Oh my. And this bitch is alphabetical.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I was expecting more than 31 pages. So a good example. Waterfall, it's a water type. It uses strength and dex. It costs 1 action, 15 PP to use. It's instantaneous, range of 80 feet. You create a waterfall that crashes down in a 10-foot radius centered on a point within range. All Pokemon in the area must make a dex save against your move DC, which I guess that has to do with the Pokemon stat block. Or take 2d6 plus move water damage? And fall prone or fail.
Trainer creator. And also trainer sprites.
Okay, so Zeke, we were kind of close with the proficiency thing.
Oh.
So your proficiency goes from at first level you've got +2 proficiency, and you go to +3 at level 5. You start with 3 Pokeslots. At 5th level, when your proficiency goes up to 3, you go to 4.
Okay.
It starts to vary a little bit, though, because at 8th level, you still have 3 proficiency, and you have 4 Pokeslots. At 9th level, you get 4 proficiency, but you still have 4 Pokeslots. At 10th level is when you get 5. So at level 15, you get your 6 Pokeslots, and you're at proficiency 5. You don't get 6 proficiency until 17, but you have 6,
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because waiting until level 17 is a little long to wait for 6 Pokemon.
Yeah. So now here's the thing. It says max SR. I wonder if that has to do with the Pokemon themselves. So like at 1st and 2nd level, you can only have Pokemon at SR rank half. So creature rating, basically.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, because again, I don't have the whole thing. to look at and go over here. Oh, but they have trainer paths. That's cool. Let's see.
So, looking at this little app thing, Mewtwo is already level 20, which is the max Pokemon level.
Okay, so it is kind of going off of the player/creature levels.
Or if I choose Bulbasaur, he's level 1.
Yeah.
Ivysaur would be 5, and then Venusaur is 10.
So I kind of wonder if this module also handled evolutions, or if it was literally like you got to go out and catch shit, and that's it.
No, you can also evolve.
Okay.
Like once you level up your Pokemon to a certain level, it will evolve.
Yeah. Well, maybe if we ever get around to randomly coming upon these modules and things, we might be able to cobble together a one-shot or something and see how it goes.
Again, it's been a very long time, like well over a year and a half since I've played Pokemon D&D. But I have done it. It's a lot of fun. Just a lot of micromanaging because everyone is a ranger and everyone has a companion.
Yeah. So with your experience with this, I'm assuming the same, the like Poke D&D or Poke 5e, I think is what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to swap mid-battle? Like how did explain to us roughly how it actually worked? Because we've been like coming up with our own fucking ideas here, and it's been awful.
So think of it as a ranger. You are the ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Your action, like you as an individual, like Pez, the Pokemon trainer, he has his own actions, moves, and all that. So for his first action, he'll throw out Bulbasaur. That's his action. Bonus action, he can do whatever bonus action he wants. And then it goes to the Bulbasaur's turn. Bulbasaur uses Razor Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And then bonus action, Hide, or whatever. And then come your next turn, if Pez wants to swap out Bulbasaur, he will have to use that action to call back Bulbasaur. And then he can bonus action throw out Mewtwo. And poof, Mewtwo's there. But then that bonus action of you throwing out a ball and casting another Pokemon, that Pokemon cannot go because that was your bonus action.
So it literally goes off of the ranger thing where your bonus action is whatever you command your companion to do.
More or less, yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. So then, if you have your dude out and you're doing what you want, what are your other like action options? Just stand there, use a potion.
So, like, you are your Pokemon's bard/healer. You can
Right.
give your Pokemon inspiration or sprays to heal them or whatever. You're just a bystander, basically.
Yeah. Interesting. I'd be down to give it a shot one day if we can find the stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't argue with that.
Oof. Well, that's honestly about as much as I had to go off. Like I've touched on everything that crossed my mind and made my brain hurt. Yeah. Anybody else got anything that they've got crossing their mind?
I mean, not really, but that's because I also wasn't really like
Paying attention.
No, expecting.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's one thing to like, yes, really good topic, and this is kind of cool, but it's just like I had no way to prepare for it because it's a surprise. So like I have literally had no time to think about it up until now, and it's like
I wanted to give that a shot and just kind of see what might come fresh to your brain.
It's a lot because, like, to be honest with you, I really don't even know how I would go about it. Like, even with everything that we said, I still really don't. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, it's a cool concept because I think that would be really neat, but it's just like, how though?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the biggest issue.
And yet someone was able to get fucking damn close. Well, not even damn close. Like, he basically had shit there. Just... yeah.
Really, I mean, really cool. But, like, I don't know, this is one of those things, like, I wouldn't mind revisiting after, like, having a couple days to think about it.
So,
Yeah.
with my experience of Pokemon 5e, it's a lot. Like, you have to plan a lot. Combat will take forever and a half. There's barely any roleplay because, let's say you want to catch a Caterpie. You're going to have to whittle that Caterpie's HP all the way down until you can yeet a ball at it. And then you have to roll a dice to see if you even catch it, or if it breaks free.
If it removes roleplay from the game, I'm not even sure I would really want to even do it.
Well...
how do you choose your starter?
Just, you can either roll dice depending on your region, or if all the regions are unlocked, then go from there. Choose from the primary starters from each of those regions, or if your DM is nice enough, then they can say, choose whatever Pokemon, just can't be a legendary. So,
I was about
I'm
to
guessing
ask
it
a
has to
question
be
and totally forgot
an
it.
unevolved one. Sorry.
unevolved, obviously. It has to be the first stage of said Pokemon. Like, I'll ask for a Beldum. Sweet, I have a Beldum. Or you can ask for a, I don't know, what's the Kalos starter? Chespin.
Now is the time to panic!
But usually your starter would be like a 3-stage Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, sure, you can go for a Farfetch'd, but what happens when it's a Surfetch'd? Good for you, you have a 2-stage Pokemon.
You're good, fucking good for you.
So.
And it seems that my concern about their moves seems to be a bit moot. Because, like, Bulbasaur, he comes with Growl, Tackle, and Overgrow. Oh, wow.
And then as he levels up, he'll get more moves, or the ability to have another move.
Yeah.
It's like his current level is level 1. You can give him a TM. You can have all the moves at level 20. You can sort every single move in the entire game, A through Z. So, like, let's say I want to give Bulbasaur Searing Shot. Sure, he's a half fire type now. I can do that. It breaks the game, but you can do that.
You can technically do that. Let's see. I'm playing with the thing here. Plus 19 for... I'm curious to see how the, like, evolving and shit works.
Did you download that app that I sent you?
Well, I didn't download it. I just went to the
okay.
IO webpage just to kind of...
Okay. I guess I could post that in Whiskey Wednesdays if other people wanted to play with it.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt. Just for shits and giggles.
Good.
So if you're interested in looking at what we've been talking about here and what Nim has been showing us, if you join the Discord and go to the Whiskey Wednesday suggestion page, you can see all of these items available for you. But it looks like this is available for the phone, just by the general layout of the thing.
Yeah, what my group did is they had it on either their phone or tablet. I just had it on my computer since I had multiple monitors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Let's see, 193999. Let's just say that. Okay, you're there. So you're like 1 point away from leveling up. If I do +1, do you level up? Nope. I don't fully understand how the leveling works on this.
We never got around to us leveling up our Pokemon.
Oh,
So, like,
I see. I see how it works.
Let's. I'll rewind a bit. So my character, everyone who was in the campaign, they were a part of Team Rocket. Only they were like a small little subcell of Team Rocket. They were the rejects, and then I came along. I was a part of the Johto region, so I had access to some extra evolutions.
Mhm.
So I said that my starter back there was an Eevee, and then my Eevee evolved into an Umbreon. And then when I threw out my Umbreon, they were like, "What the hell is that thing?" And then they're like, "Oh, there's more Pokemon out there. Whoa!" So
Whoa!
yeah,
Interesting.
you can have cool lore and stuff like that. You don't even have to set it in the same Pokemon world. Like, you can have it be set here in the US, where all the generations of Pokemon just vibe. Or you could lock it down to region-specific things. It's just cool. You can do anything. You could be a part of Team Rocket, Team Rainbow, Team whatever. You could be Ash. You could be freaking Lieutenant Surge fighting in the Pokemon War.
You can give yourself the Great Weapon Master feat.
Mm-hmm.
That just seems so dumb.
What I've also seen people do is play it like those, I forgot what they were called. I think are they called Pokemon Rescue Dungeon or something like that. Anyway, you play as a Pokemon and then you go around rescuing other Pokemon. You aren't a trainer, you are the Pokemon.
Oh, yes, I do remember what you're talking about now, yeah.
Yeah. People play it like that.
Fun
where
game.
Yeah. Their character is that Pokemon. So, like, let's say I'm a Squirtle. I'm a level 1 Squirtle. I fight my way at level 15. Oh, I'm evolving. I'm a war turtle. And then blah, blah, blah. Level 35.
I actually think that
Oh,
sounds a
I'm
lot more
chunky.
fun.
Kaz,
So-
you're my favorite person. I love you. He's like, I'm a war turtle.
I am more chunky. I kind of like the idea of picking what you want to be, and then you play the game as that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It also just seems to like mitigate a lot of the complications of having, a 6-party team, dealing with your own stats as well as your companion. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, I think I would definitely more prefer being the Pokemon than playing the trainer.
Here's an
Pokemon
interesting
Mystery
thing.
Dungeon. That's what it's
So with this app, as you level up, you get your ability modifier points. So in normal D&D, you roll at the very beginning, and basically those are your stats. You can do an ability score increase later on and whatnot, but this one essentially started me at choosing a Bulbasaur. It's like 13 Strength, 12 Dex, 12 Con, 6 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, and 10 Charisma. I, at level 16, have 16 points to spend. I could just kind of plop them in anywhere here. Or I wonder if that's because I evolved myself to a Venusaur. I'm not really sure.
There you go. That's what I was talking about. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, I vaguely remember seeing something about that. All right, so the max you can give yourself is 20 again, which, it checks out. I'm not 100%
Just have
sure how
everybody
that...
be Eevees and just evolve. That'd be awesome. All the
That
Eevees.
would actually be pretty fucking dope. So you all start as Eevees, but you don't tell anybody what you're going to evolve into until you evolve.
Yep. You can play them like the Awoken. Like in D&D, just have Awoken Pokemon with their cute little outfits and swords.
With their cute little outfits.
I don't need your sass, sir.
It's too late.
All I am saying is dibs on a scarf. I will be the Pokemon with the scarf.
So I'm curious here. So what exactly do your stats, like your ability scores, do they affect the damage of an ability?
I would assume so.
So if I'm looking at Vine Whip, it's 4d6 plus 10. So I'm trying to look and see. Oh, the move power is strength/dex.
Oh, there we go. I figured out how to evolve. Once your Pokemon reaches that... Okay, never mind.
Well, no, it doesn't. You don't even have to go back to edit.
Yeah.
Don't change your level. You can just, well, maybe level yourself up by like 1.
Nope.
Oh, interesting. I was able to make mine a Venusaur by like level 16. Don't know how I managed to do that.
Cheater.
I don't know what I'm doing to be able to cheat. So this is where I'm a little bit confused. So double edge, it does 78 plus 5, and the move power is strength dex. Vine Whip is also strength dex, but where double edge is only a plus 5, which I'm assuming is the plus 5 from my strength. But why does my Vine Whip have a plus 10? Is that because it's part of my it's my Pokemon's type and therefore it's doubled, like what Zeke was saying?
So where are you seeing that plus 10? Because for my Vine Whip, it's 2d8 plus 4.
Because my strength is at 20. Yours is only at 13. So go into edit. And then ability modifiers. See, you have 16 available points.
No.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. You can still only bring it up to a maximum of 20. But yeah, if you don't put anything else into strength, I'm curious, put your other point into something else real quick. And just leave dexterity where it is. Because Vine Whip is supposedly based off of strength and dex. Okay, so yeah, if you max out both of those, because I only have 14 in dex and 20 in strength. So if you hit save, I'm curious what your modifier would be for your... yeah, yours is only a plus 8. How? I don't understand. I don't fully understand how these are affecting the modifiers. This is baffling. Yeah, because your AB is only plus 10. Mine's plus 11. What is happening? I'm so confused. Drags. Well, since we're basically just sitting here talking and looking at a screen that you guys can't even see, I'm probably just going to go ahead and end the stream here. This will probably be something that we revisit later after we've had a chance to look at whatever Pez has available to him. Any kind of closing remarks? Is anyone, like, apart from me, of course, since I brought the topic up, is anyone even, like, interested in potentially doing, like, a one-shot or two in this vein?
Playing the Pokemon?
Yeah, maybe a one-shot as Pokemon?
Yeah. Okay, so then
Yes.
that's at least 4 people, including myself, that are interested. So we may revisit this a little bit later. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop off. We've been going for about an hour and a half, and I'm already done with my whiskey. So thank you all for joining and watching and going on this train wreck of a conversation with me. We will revisit this topic. Probably not the next Whiskey Wednesdays. We'll probably go back to normal suggestions, which we have quite a few at this point. So thank you those who have offered those up for discussion. I'm a little frazzled, man. I don't know why. My brain is just not in gear today.
Well, you just spent how many days moving stuff around?
Driving and moving and lifting, and yeah, I'm pretty spent. It's great.
Listen, this is actually a very good topic. Like I said, I would want to come back to this just after I get some time to really kind of think about it, like see kind of how some of this will work, what like a little more specifics and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, the only other real announcement I've got is keep an eye out on Saturday. I don't know when the stream may or may not start, so I'm not going to put an announcement out on it just because people's schedules are hectic and it's hard to get everybody in one place. But there's a chance.
Yes.
So
For what?
it's a secret. Yes. Yeah, that's all I got. So thank you all for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you the next time we go live. Anybody else got anything? No?
No, enjoy. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Okay, bye.